All right, Cyber Traders, good afternoon and welcome on back here this Wednesday, June 1st. Great to see all of us live inside the Cyber Group room. Bill, Michael, John rejoining us right now. Great to see all of us otherwise there. Great to see all of us on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. Folks, we got a lot to talk about as we usually do here at this afternoon meeting. So, for right now, the SPY, the S&P ETF, you could see on my 5-minute chart on the left. Markets are trying to squeeze up right now. We ended up seeing a big drop off upon the market opening up. Led to a couple of great short trades right out the gate, very similar to yesterday, actually, believe it or not. But yesterday morning, we were expecting more of the continued push to where it shocked us, where a lot of things dropped off out the gate. This morning, I was personally a little bit more prepared for this drop off at first. So we ended up seeing a big drop right out the gate. SPY pulled back down, below like 408. But right now, trying to get a good squeeze here heading into the close. Right now, the EFOI stock just on the screen here to begin. It's at the highs here heading into this meeting, exactly where we would want to see any stock. So, right now, easily enough, we'll put the EFOI on the main watch list. Did anyone jump in and out of the stock already today for like Kathleen or Bruce or Alex or Bill? Anyone jump in and out on this EFOI earlier today? I saw a couple profits get posted, but I forgot exactly who made what. I'm sure a couple of us jumped in and out for 6 cents here, 8 cents there. It's a cheapie. It's a slower one too, so you're not trying to hit the home run trade on this. But for as much as this pushed up pretty nicely across the late morning, we're definitely getting a continued move here for the afternoon. Cat's saying, I wish. John and Alex say no. Robert says yes, though. Hopefully, Robert got a good piece of the action himself, and hopefully there's a lot more left for us here. Right now there's a 36,000 share iceberg order on the ask at 159. So, it's getting close to that iceberg anyway. So I would expect for that to be resistance here at 159. All right, so folks, let's go right from top to bottom. Otherwise, let's see what we could put on the watch list alongside this EFOI trade here. VTVT. We skipped over this one, didn't we? We decided not to put VTVT on the main morning watch list today. Why? Because basically it was a buyout, right? It was some sort of definitive agreement, $25 million or something of that nature. And, with that, I mean, it actually did drop off prior to the open, but it only flattened out since. We made a great call not putting any focus on this VTVT today. Waste of time. All right, HSDT. It's ugly now, but this one actually made a decent little pop out the gate this morning. At 9:30, it broke out pretty nicely, but it's looking for support. That's the bigger concern. After it pops like this, we're not just jumping in a trade like this right away at the market open. You got to see support, higher lows, and at first we got it, but volume died off. So expectedly so, this one ended up coming back down a bit. All right, speaking of coming back down, TNXP right back down to that 330 level, the same price level that we were calling out as support before it became support. So, we were right on the money here at $3.30 at 8:40 Eastern time, anticipating support. It held it flawlessly, which led to the bounce back up after. Well, again, this is a short squeeze stock, folks. We talked about this in the morning meeting, with the short squeeze, whether it's coming off of news or just naturally, there's a lot of short covering volume. It's going to lead to a pump. But again, we just talked about this on what was it? The other one, HSDT, I think it was. Like when the volume dies off on a stock like this, on a short squeeze stock like this, once the volume drastically dropped off, look what happened to the trade. It tanked. So unless if you could short it, then, I'm not going to bother with it, at least, after that point. So, yeah, I mean, for right now, for the close, we're definitely going to scrap it for the meantime. All right, View. View had a nice little push here this morning. It wasn't on the main watch list. It was pretty flat leading into the open, but we acknowledged it. We said, maybe if it could pop, we'll be there to call it out. Well, fortunately, it popped. We were there to call it out. Personally, I didn't jump on this myself, but I know a bunch of us did here inside the live trading room, getting about 5 or 10 cents a pop, if not even more. But, just to say, again, very similar to EFOI for a stock like this that begins to make a push, going into the mid-morning. At what point does it begin to pull back? At what point does it begin to reverse? So I know Grant was calling this out early off the 150 level, and then from there it just kept going. Mark was on it. Norman was on it early on. But yeah, right now, obviously, kind of died off and pulled back a bit. All right, so folks, I don't know if we're going to find a whole lot that is up, that famous 5% or more that I asked for, but the markets are pushing up really well. So there could be a couple of good side list stocks that are making a strong bounce right now. Let's just see what else we have here on the gainers list here first. AVYA, stocks trading about 20-ish thousand shares a minute, which is pretty good for this time of the day. Made a pop and drop earlier. So this is basically the second win type of move that we talk about. With that, you normally don't expect this to just continue and breaking new highs by the afternoon. So, it's off to a nice little start, but I'm not expecting much more on this one just yet. GovX, this one made lower high and crashed. It got spotty after. I'm referring towards, here after 2 o'clock. It popped up earlier for us in the beginning of the afternoon. Obviously, the drop back down. And here we were looking for higher lows, and the eventual higher high obviously didn't get it. So, we're going to scrap this one here too at this point, the GovX. All right, what else we got here on the gainer side, folks? I know a lot of these natural gas stocks have been really running up. They have been the last 2 weeks, really. But I know a few of us, like Michael and Bill, were commenting on them earlier today. So we'll get to those here at the end. A couple of energy stocks here first. KOS ended up making a nice push going into the early afternoon. It's still holding off the highs there or near the highs. So, it's strong in that regard. You could say the same on BTU, Peabody Energy. This is another one that we had called out earlier today. I don't know. It's just looking a little slow right now, making kind of lower highs here across the last 30, 45 minutes. So, I don't have a great need to put those stocks on the main list just yet, the BTU or the COS, but maybe just one more skim through the gainer side here first. Let's see what else. Let's see if there's anything else. PED, familiar name. It's just spotty chart at the highs, though. I'll pass. All right, I think that's just about it from the gainer side. Again, there could be more just with the market bouncing back up pretty healthily here. So let's see if there's anything on the loser side first, and then we'll kind of just jump in between all the sideless stocks otherwise. All right, first 5 are hard to borrow. Can't short them. They're not down enough to look for the dead cat bounce. So that takes me to number 6, apps. Ended up making a nice drop off from pre-market. We had this one on the morning list, just simply because it was liquid enough and it was easy to borrow. So for that reason, coming off of bad news, whatever it was, it's definitely the type of opportunity you'd like to follow after the open. Either it makes the dead cat bounce and makes a strong recovery up, or it eventually makes the better drop off later on. So, it ended up making the small little jump to begin, but then we got the better move as it smashed right back under 22. And then since has just been dropping off pretty nicely. So, for the afternoon, it's not technically near the lows as much as I would want it to be. Low of the day off of 1921. It's at basically 20 here. So, I don't know. I'll pass. It's a good side list stock. It's, one if you did well on earlier today. I'm sure you'd be more inclined to follow it. I'm sure you could say the same on LTHM. This one is, I guess, a little bit closer to the LOD, but kind of same deal. AFRM, a firm, we've been following this one for a little while now, probably the last month or so. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we've been following this back from October, November last year. We weren't. But, the more this drops off, the closer it gets within our price range, right? So we've definitely been following this stock for the last month now at this point, if not longer. So, once the market opened and we saw a bunch of, stocks dropping and the market as a whole pulling back, it wasn't a long amount of time before we had called out the Affirm trade as a short. Again, same deal with this, as I said, on lithium and apps. Just they're flat right now. If they were closer to their respective lows, I'd be a lot more interested in the short. SGFY, same thing here. I feel like we could find a lot that is looking like this here, if anything. All right, just to wrap up the loser side here, you got Workhorse down over 9%. It's a $2.80 stock. It's at the lows, so that part I actually do like a lot, but it's just too slow. It's just really moving flat here. So, I'm not expecting a bigger move on this trade heading into the close, but for a short, this is where you would want to see it. All right, SGFY we already clicked on, right? All right, folks, that's all you got from me here so far. We're going to go through some side list stocks first. But in between, though, let me know if there's anything else that's up or down that 5% or more. Type it in the chat board if anything. First, like I said, get to some side list stocks like NEO. It's just been really flat the last near 3 hours. Ended up making a nice move earlier this morning. I even wasn't as focused on NEO at the open here today, so it kind of ran without me, and then it dropped off without me. This thing ended up making a nice move up, nice move back down without me, and since it's just been flat, so I don't really have much interest on this trade heading into the afternoon. Could say the same on AMC. Take a look at some of these other trades. Ford kind of grinding back on up right now, moving a little bit better with SPY. American Airlines just very lackluster, very flat. I reckon it did make, a bounce similar to the SPY, but I don't know. You tell me. Like, I guess from the market drop off this morning, this looks like more of a flatter move across the afternoon, albeit it's moving up, but it's not really worth our time right now, it seems. Not a whole lot out there altogether that seems to be worth our time. I'll tell you what, we only have one damn stock on the afternoon list so far, folks. Just that EFOI trade. That's it. Come on. There's got to be more than that. And I just scan the, most of the market, right? Scan most of what we would want to follow. So let's see what we have here from Bruce. He says Roblox, another one from this morning. I forgot to mention this, but again, very similar with a firm. And, I could probably slip a SoFi in there. Those stocks were great shorts from earlier today, but I'm not in the business of these tiny grinding moves, so I appreciate the shout from Bruce. RBLX is moving up, but I don't know. I'm not in the business of making pennies. I don't know. And you could say that on a lot of different trades, folks, right? So it's not just RBLX. It's a lot of what we've covered here already. John, the MULN, you come on. You think this is looking good? So that's the answer right there, John. I mean, come on. Is it possible for it to bounce? Yes. Is it possible if you're already in, which I'm assuming you are, John, probably from the low of the day at 140? I'm sure you're up probably a couple pennies. But for the next 75 minutes, does this look like it's a good trade here? Come on. And again, you could say that for pretty much everything else, folks. So, if there's anything else that looks good right now, let me know. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Bill says nap time. Hopefully not nap time, folks. We still have 75 minutes to go. There's still plenty more action left. So, although we have count them, one stock on the list so far, we at least know that there will be other opportunities. Certainly, we'll get closer to 3:30 Eastern time, and we would assume for everything else, or we would assume for other things, to begin to move. We got one here, just otherwise. Let me just take a look. EVLO. Nope. Just popped up on Benzinga radar really quickly. Just wanted to check it out pretty quick, but obviously this is not really making a good move. We'll check out View, VIEW. I guess you can say this is kind of moving a little bit better than the MULN, but it already made a big move once earlier today. I wouldn't really expect for it to make a second big move. Granted, out of everything that we've looked at so far, this doesn't look like the worst. And then if anything, well, hey, look at this. Look what's moving back on up right now, actually, as I pop this back up on my Benzinga Pro here, my scanner. SIGA just came back up. This thing's making a pretty sharp push back up over 12. It's up near 10% still on the day. You know what? This will make number 2. View will hold off on. I'm not really expecting that to make a bigger push, although it still seems relatively active. But we got EFOI and we got SIGA for right now. Norman calling out the Veru, right? Veru. I know John M had called that out earlier, or after the fact, saying it made a bounce, which it did. Hey, if you were really watching this stock when it was at 1150 and you saw it break under and over 1150, and if you jumped in from there, a lot of ifs there, right? But if you were there from 1150, obviously would have made for a great play. But the question is, how much more could this keep pushing, right? It's still down 7+% on the day. It's at 12, a major level. So don't get me wrong, this is tradable, but I'm not really too particular about it for right now. And if I'm wrong with that, I'll be happy to be wrong so long as we could react in time and jump in on it, before it's too late. But right now, I'd rather follow the SIGA trade and then the EFOI. All right. Folks, listen, if there's not a whole lot out there, don't force it, right? Last thing you want to do is lose the money that you've already gained, right? You don't want to give it back. Last from Bobby here on YouTube. How about this? CTIC. It's up over 7% right now, obviously making a really good push as we're talking. Looks like a bunch of volume got hit and filled off of 579. So 579 in particular should be a pretty strong level to focus on, hopefully a support coming up. Good call for right now, Bobby. Yeah, for right now, I'll put this on our list. Looks good. And then lastly, before we jump off, can't really go much further, folks. I got a coaching call with one of our students coming up here at 3. But we got the GOVX trade right as I'm finishing up here. It's beginning to push back up towards 2. Hey, it's up over 12.5%. If this didn't make the push as we were finishing up, I wouldn't have put it on our list. But this last little kick back up to 2, it's keeping me just a little bit interested in this trade here. So GOVX we'll put back on our list in hopes of this breaking back over 2, holding it as support, and then from there really running up. So, hey, if it doesn't break over 2, this doesn't have our business, right? All right, folks, that's going to do it. That's going to be it for me here for all of us inside the live trading room. I'm going to be back on the mic here at 3:30 in the afternoon to wrap things up for us here heading into the market close. For all of us on YouTube and Facebook Live, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every day, the whole day today. Actually, I believe Fausto should be back in the saddle come tomorrow morning. But, actually, no, pardon me there. Pardon me. I'm thinking I'm a day ahead. You got me back for tomorrow morning. Fausto will be back on Friday. I keep thinking today's Thursday. Today's Wednesday. All right, folks, if you have any questions otherwise, feel more than free to send over an email right to josh@c2trading.com for all of us on YouTube and Facebook Live. I like to post my email here at the end of these streams. For all of us inside the live trading room, you can private chat me. You know where to find me coming up. But if you wanted to join us inside our live trading room for all of us on YouTube and Facebook Live, just go right down to the link on the yellow banner below on the bottom of the stream there to get yourself signed up. Hey, nice little start here so far. The GOVX is above 2. It's got to stay above 2. And more importantly, not just stay above 2, it's got to break a new high in due time. So, folks, we have a decent list now at this point. Not too big, but, hey, it's a good list. So I look forward to it. And again, for all of us live inside the Cyber Group room, I'll be back on the mic right at 3:30. Talk to you soon.
Today, you are invited into the world of Fausto Pugliese, who battles some of the best traders in the world to win the real money World Trading Championships not once, not twice, but a jaw-dropping 12 times. Fausto is opening up his private members-only cyber group to you in this incredible opportunity. What makes Fausto so different, you ask? Some might say it was his upbringing. Others say that he is a family man through and through. But the story goes